We are live from the zoo, home of the Kalamazoo Curling Club, Wings Event Center in Kalamazoo, Michigan. 2023 USA Curling Mixed Doubles National Championships. 16 teams have been competing for the right to represent the United States at the 2023 World Mixed Doubles Championships in Gangneung, South Korea. Tiebreaker round this morning. Tyler George here on the call. Claire Moores will eventually be joining us in the booth. Had a pretty nasty snowstorm here in Kalamazoo yesterday and some issues with the roads. Claire on her way will be here hopefully within the next 10-15 minutes. Our tiebreaker game between Delaney Strouse and Danny Casper taking on Taylor Anderson and Ben Richardson. Both teams at 4-3. Anderson Richardson getting a win in their last round robin game. Strouse and Casper with a 4-point lead with 2 ends to play. Their game against Podol and Perry last night gave up a 3 and a 2 to lose that game and now end up in this tiebreaker matchup. See the standings in Pool B. TC and Dropkin with the 1 seed out of the bracket at 7-0. Anderson and Stapera, the 2 seed at 5-2. And now this tiebreaker game between Anderson Richardson and Strouse and Casper. Game already underway. Have 4 rocks in the 4-foot. No shock. See Pool A here as well. Persinger Plies undefeated. Geving, Schuster, Hamilton tied at 5-2. The Hamilton siblings are the 2 seed by virtue of their round robin win over Geving and Schuster. Danny Casper throwing here and playing an intern tap over curls. Rex on the guard. Strouse and Casper already sitting 2. They do have, I think we're switched up on the screen there too. Anderson Richardson are the red squad. Taylor and Ben are sitting 2. Delaney and Danny have hammer as yellow stones here in the first end. Ben Richardson throwing intern draw. Playing it to tight right now. Guarding up their 2 stones that are shot rock. Then finishing this one with a little sweep to try to get it to cover the right side of the stone. A little bit within view here for Casper. Like Delaney is going to play the peel to open this up. Possibly run back to the broom. Fairly tight on the stone. We'll see if they try to run this in or just open things up. Hammer trying to make sure they have a clear path to score. Does move things around, leaves the shooter there. But now Anderson Richardson only sitting 1. Decision time already for Richardson and Anderson. Try to decide if they want to lock another one into this pocket or just protect the one that they have on the button. I would think that this is probably coming into the house. There is a run back available with that yellow stone to possibly sit a few. So it's like a draw to the top of the 4-foot, try to tuck a small piece so it plays into the angle on a yellow stone in the back of the 4-foot. and Richardson's final stone of this first end. Out turn, come around draw, trying to get to the top of the forefoot. It looks fairly close. Ben thinks it needs to go a little bit. Line looks very good. They don't need to bury completely. They want to stagger these a little bit. Doesn't quite get second count. Covers up maybe a third of that stone, maybe a quarter actually. Delaney and Danny trying to decide if they want to just try to tap this stone back. Likely only sit one because of that red stone on the back of the forefoot. Tap would jam. They are going to play the freeze tap. Just try to get shot rock. So Danny Casper's final stone, playing the outturn tap. Only need to move that stone a couple inches to get shot rock. Danny leaning on this, looks like it might be light. Still sweeping, may end up tapping this up too. Looks like moved red in for a second counter as well. Richardson, Anderson surveying things, trying to figure out if there's a way in for Delaney Strouse on her last. Looks like the guard will be the play. Trying to possibly get a steal of 2 here in this first end. Taylor Anderson's final stone here for her squad. For a mid-tight guard on this outturn path. Line looks to be pretty good. Ben just cleaning this in. Trying to finish a little bit, take that port away. Looks to be good. Maybe an in-off. Off the yellow into the red stones. Not sure if this will be there to score, but at the very least, trying to cut Anderson and Richardson to 1, playing off of this stone. Again, on the scoreboard on the screen, the colors are reversed. This will be a yellow stone being thrown for the final shot by Delaney Strouse. It hit maybe a quarter of this rock or even a little thinner. Final stone of this first end. Delaney Strouse, outturn in-off. Just looking to redirect off of this yellow stone. Needs to be really thin. Just a hair thick, very close there, but is indeed a steal of 2 here in the first end for Anderson and Richardson. After one end of play, they lead 2-0. Second end of action in this tiebreaker round, 2023 USA Curling Mixed Doubles National Championships. With the start of the second end, once again, I'd like to talk to you about Warm Room Hero. Is your curling club website clunky and unworkable? Are you tired of your club relying on social media because your website just does not work for your members? Finally, the curling management software your club has been waiting for is here. Check out Warm Room Hero at curling.club today. 2-0. Anderson and Richardson leading Strouse and Casper after steal in the opening end. Danny Casper's out-turn freeze overcurled and ended up tapping Anderson and Richardson up for a second counter, which they guarded the rest of the end. Richardson now playing the out-turn draw. Winner of this game will face the Hamilton siblings in the quarterfinals.
Top four.
Schedule has been updated. It is a 2 p.m. Eastern time draw today. Schedule earlier said 1. Turn tap here from Richardson right to the tee line. Rock does roll a little bit to the open. I agree with this call. Gonna play the double while they can to get to that stone. Possibly sit 3 if this hits in the right spot and sticks around. Casper sweeping, trying to hold this line. Need to hit about 2/3 to 3/4. Rex on their own in the back, over curls, does close to maybe sticking around for a biter in the back. You have 2 rocks in the top of the 8-foot.
I even don't mind like board.
Richardson saying he likes board weight here, just trying to hit this rock that's open in the top of the 8-foot. Roll over, corner on top of the other yellow stone. Another out turn for Ben. Just wants to hit about 3/4 of this on the inside. Roll a few inches. Does just that. Very nicely done by Ben. Good rock placement there. There's an intern tap available for Danny Casper. That will be the shot selection. Trying to move this up to shot rock if possible. You heard back 8, the call from Delaney Strouse. Intern tap for Danny. Call is back 8. Line looks close. Now takes a turn. Delaney calling for the sweep. Does get by. Trying to hold the line for the tap. Actually touches the red stone in the top of the 8-foot. Close for shot rock. Richardson eyeballing it, trying to figure it out. Regardless of who's shot rock, I think Anderson and Richardson are content to leave those rocks as is. force or a steal of 1 would be a good result for them. Those 2 yellow stones lined up where they're at. That tap is the most accessible shot for Strouse and Casper. And just playing the guard on this side. Keeping Strouse and Casper chasing early in this game.
Just halfway.
It's over curling. Taylor Anderson saying over and off. Trying to leave it high and guarding those stones so there is no tap. Should be just fine. This is about 3/4 of this red stone showing. Maybe not quite that much from the hack. They can get enough of it to play the red, yellow, red. Board weight from Danny. Really like to hit as much of this as they can. Shooter stays in that position and that red rock rolls open off of the raise. Be the best result. Board weight hit from Danny Casper. Trying to get close to this guard. Looks like it needs to come up a little bit. Let's make the raise to sit shot rock. Red now second. A bad result there. That red stone on the top of the 4-foot pretty much completely buried. The way it curls, they could come around with the outturn and tap that up. Try to get shot rock. And talking about guarding up the draw for 2. Just trying to force. So outturn guard attempt for Taylor Anderson. Take away the draw for 2 points. Only shot for 2, looks like a couple different shots for 2. Would be an in-off off of their own yellow in the outside 12-foot or a run back. Red guard back into the yellow in the top of the 8-foot. Will be options for trying to score a second point. Ben trying to hold the line early. One of those guards that you really can't throw too wide to take away that path. This looks like it might be over curling, even if it does get over the hog line. Does not. That stone hogged, and there is a draw for 2 available. This needs to get full 4-foot for Delaney Strouse to get their second point. That important tap from Danny Casper on his last, setting up this opportunity for 2. Outturn draw to the side of the 4-foot for Delaney Strouse. Just talking a little bit about the weight there with Danny. Final stone of this second end. Early sweep here from Danny. Delaney looks like she's going to jump in too. Really needs to go to get it there. Not sure that it's going to. So it will just be a single point for Strouse and Casper as that comes up short. And after 2 ends of play, Anderson and Richardson leading Strouse and Casper 2-1. Third end of action, our tiebreaker round in the 2023 USA Curling Mixed Doubles National Championships. Taylor Anderson and Ben Richardson leading Delaney Strouse and Danny Casper 2-1 in the third. Anderson and Richardson have hammer. In turn, freeze attempt from Delaney Strouse. Right down to the top of the button. Good spot from Delaney. Local sponsor Tim Hortons says wake up to freshness with Tim's 2 for $6 breakfast sandwiches featuring fresh cracked eggs. Pair with the new vanilla flavored cream cold brew, chocolate cold foam, or a vanilla flavored latte with chocolate syrup. Thank you to our local sponsor Tim Hortons, located at 5709 Westnedge Avenue near I-94 in Portage. Turn tap there from Taylor Anderson, bumps that rock to the open. Stone spread out a little bit more. So another in-turn draw here coming up from Danny Casper. For Anderson and Richardson, much better situation with hammer, not having too many stones clogging up the back of the forefoot. To get a steal or a force in this end, this hanging out will chip and roll into the side of the button. Stone all the way open for Ben Richardson. There's a port to poke that rock through. Hit and roll with looks like maybe hack weight. Richardson lining up on this in-turn side. It's at least 2, possibly 3. Depending on which rock is closer between those in the back of the 8-foot. Richardson trying to hold the line here. It rolls to the opposite side of the button. Good shot from Ben. He's been sharp early. Danny Casper now playing this in-turn freeze. Richardson stone that stopped on the button. curling hard, looking like it's getting close to the guard. I've seen a couple of those misses from Casper on these come around draws. Tendency has been to be on the tight side. It's not the case on his previous shot, so trying to find the balance between those two lines. And we've seen with how weight sensitive it's been, just a couple feet of difference has really affected the line and the amount of curl. Danny's first hanging out, a little extra weight and not burying. The second over curling and wrecking on the guard. Just fighting it a little bit right now. And Richardson playing this in-turn draw. Trying to get into the top of the 8-foot.
Top 8, top 4.
Now calling top 4. It's the curl to get off of that corner guard first. Looks like it should get by. Settling in all the way down to that other stone. Those angles, I think 2 of those will go at the very least.
You get away with hitting it thin, right? Kind of have to, I guess.
They're talking about trying to lose all 3. I'd be tempted to just lose the back 2 and sit on top of that red stone. If the shooter rolls away, 2 still definitely in the picture for Anderson and Richardson. Casper indeed trying to get them all moving. Plenty of weight here. Does lose a few, but leaving Anderson and Richardson sitting 2. So again, maybe a little bit over aggressive on the call. Just losing the back 2 and sitting on top of that red stone would have been a lot better situation here for Strouse and Casper. Now Ben Richardson with his final stone to the end, drawing around the guard to try to sit 3. Put Strouse and Casper in a difficult position once again. Anderson and Richardson have been the team dictating the action so far, keeping Strouse and Casper chasing their stones.
Weight's good. Top 8.
The team got new life last night to get back into playoff contention into this tiebreaker. Taking advantage so far. A good line here from Richardson too, now trying to finish to bury the stone a little bit. He gets maybe a quarter of the stone underneath the guard. Trying to figure out where they can place this stone, get themselves out of trouble. Be difficult to get shot rock, have it not be just about wide open, so probably just drawing to sit second. See if they can force Anderson and Richardson to 1 point. Use that stone as backing in the back of the 8-foot. Delaney Strauss's final stone of the 3rd. Really need to get this buried underneath that corner guard. See if they can escape this mess. Playing the out turn. Rock curling hard early. Trying to sweep to get around and to get there for shot rock. That's already short and over curling, so this would be a free draw for 4 points for Anderson and Richardson. Taylor Anderson just picking the line they want to play. In-turn and out-turn both available. Very strong start to this game for Anderson and Richardson. Looks like Taylor is electing to play the out turn around the wide side. Final stone of this third end. For a 4th point. Richardson jumps on it early. Be a little slower in the outside of the sheet with a couple draws coming up short on those lines. This looks to be no problem though. Richardson just playing it safe. That will coast in for a 4th point. So after 3 ends of play, Taylor Anderson, Ben Richardson leading Strouse and Casper 6-1.
Twin Cities Orthopedics is ready to go with more doctors, specialty services, and convenient urgent care locations. Ready, set, TCO.
Beginning of the 4th end of this tiebreaker game in the 2023 Mixed Doubles National Championships. Taylor Anderson, Ben Richardson leading Delaney, Strouse, and Danny Casper 6-1 after a 4-point end in the third. We are joined now by Claire Morris. Claire, member of Team Moores Wheeler. We always put your name first, Claire.
Hello.
Road's a little dicey out there, Claire?
No, I was just sleeping.
Well, at least you're honest. We appreciate that. I was doing that too for a while. Then I showed up here. Yeah, for a little while. Big shot made, push that stone into the back of the 4-foot, somewhat open up that rock on the side of the 8-foot. Claire, I think I said to you as you sat down, this is the first power play that I've seen in the first half of the game yet this week. I don't know if you've seen any.
I don't think so. Usually we're seeing folks wait until the 6th, 7th, or 8th to play that. But I was saying you could really just power move, come out early.
Yeah, just
hammer.
First end, fire away. Let them know what you're doing. I don't mind that play right now with the momentum shift necessary after that 4-point end. And really, Claire, the first 3 have been all Anderson and Richardson dictating the action, keeping their opponents chasing. That's the name of the game.
Yeah, if the non-hammer team makes their first rock perfect, it's hard.
Trying to replace this corner guard as of now. Not sure if they were trying to come around or just throw to the guard, but trying to finish up so there's no port to come through to hit that stone. Staggered the right way at the least. Claire, you finished the round robin with a bang. I believe a 12-0 victory last night in your final matchup. So maybe these teams that are in the playoff round dodging a bullet with you guys catching fire towards the end of the week and not having to deal with that juggernaut going forward.
Obviously. I tried to convince for top 4 teams to move forward, but it was a little too late for that change.
We did hear that conversation. There isn't anywhere that says that you can't change it right now, even though it's in the rules. The rules can be changed or broken. So there was some lobbying.
You don't ask.
Yeah. Why not ask? Who knows? That would have been fun to change the format qualification in the middle of the tournament, just to keep people on their toes. Yeah, we were having a 16 playoff, but we're going to change it to 8 or maybe just 7. Who knows? You know, just throw you guys in. Who cares about everybody else?
Exactly. I would have been.
Yeah, and that's really the important thing. You're already probably pretty happy with a little extra sleep. And getting to take the rest of the day off. Obviously, would be fun to be out there playing too, but a good showing, good tournament for you guys. How long has your team been together, Claire, with yourself and Lance?
Probably 6 years. I've only been curling for 7, so it was kind of as soon as I started curling, I knew I wanted to do it competitively.
So in essence, in at least the mixed doubles portion for you, Lance is the only teammate that you've had, so you really don't know if he's
Not true.
Oh,
Not
there
true.
was another one. Okay.
Yeah, I played with Quentin Way for a season, and then
Okay.
Lance stole me. So
There you go.
that's still a topic. Q is our coach, and he brings it up at least once a tournament.
Nice bump and roll there on top of that red stone back and forefoot. Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't let that go, but the point was going to be that you really couldn't know if Lance was a great teammate or a terrible one without much frame of reference.
That's true.
But, I mean, coming off of playing with Quentin, I'm sure
He
Lance
does bring
looks
coffee, though.
fantastic. Look at that. What a guy. Yeah, I got some tea here, Lance. I'm good, thank you. I'm thinking maybe a nap might be in order after the game, so I don't really want to wake myself up anymore. Plenty of coffee, plenty of Tim Hortons, one of our sponsors, as we mentioned throughout the week. That rock peeled out there by Richardson. Ben hasn't missed much of anything yet in this game.
And it looks like they're just hitting everything they can, which makes sense.
Yeah, you don't see that opportunity very often in mixed doubles in the first half of the game where you're able to just hit and play defense. But with the power play being used with Team Strouse and Casper in the fourth end, a little easier to play that keep it open, clean it up game against a power play than it is in the forefoot. And one of the things we saw last night, Claire, was Team Burr in their game against the Hamiltons elected to not use their power play late in the game when they were trying to rally and play to the forefoot instead. They felt that didn't ask them this, but we assumed they felt that played more to their advantage because they play to the center of the sheet very well. They like playing the soft game. They like bumping around the center. So I believe they elected to try to score multiple points without the power play as opposed to using it.
And if you feel like you've got that line down, that draw weight down, control of the center, maybe switching to the power play doesn't necessarily help you. You've got that control already.
Has there been a situation like that for you and Lance, there where you had the choice to either use power play or not, and elected to not use it because you felt like you had a better chance of scoring by playing to the middle of the sheet?
Yes and no. I feel like we always end up using it at some point, but especially if you're up in points and you've been doing well playing to the center, I don't feel like you need to necessarily use that power play. I feel like that's, for lack of a better way to put it, trying to put the nail in the coffin.
Maybe an opportunity for Strouse and Casper to get back in this game now. Danny throwing his final stone of fourth end. Trying to play a soft weight hit and roll in front of that red stone in the back of the 8-foot. Already 2 other counters underneath the corner guards, so they can bring those 2 into play. Maybe get back in the action.
They're in good position.
Ends up just nosing, so it doesn't get the roll across, but they're going to need a half miss now from Taylor Anderson of some kind to try to make those 2 rocks under the corner count. Opponent an opportunity to play a double.
Yeah, I think ideally you're rolling shot rock away from the button here. I don't think you can run any of those. Well, maybe you could run that yellow in. That port might be there. If they do roll.
So this will be out turn, soft weight hit. Taylor Anderson. Love to just hit on the nose with this shot. Even roll underneath. Nose should be safe to not leave a double. This is turning over early. Richardson falling for the sweep. Now saying they need to curl. Switching back and forth. Taylor with a little dance there. You know, Claire, watching those types of sweep calls, you always wonder, can't you just not sweep it at all? And
That's
if
what
you
you
need
feel
to
like you're
carve it,
doing.
then you need to hold it straight, back and forth. If you just do nothing, then it probably ends up in the same spot, right?
Yeah. That happened to us in our game yesterday. I think I said every line call in the book. It ended up working out.
Clean, curl,
Straight,
right off, really hard.
My favorite is the really aggressively yelled easy. It's like relax, but
yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah, I'm going to
not
tell
relaxed.
you in as strong of terms I can that you need to relax.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there's enough space on the inside here, Claire, that this double, even though it's soft weight, can possibly be there for even.
Well, we really only need to push that back red not too far out the deep foot.
Doesn't look like they're trying to go for that right now, but where this rock is ending up, you see how far that was from the guard. I definitely think that double was there, 3, and I don't think they even really looked at it.
Sometimes I wonder if when you go hard for that one, you have the chance to go hard for that one, but it's also.
We are going into the break now.
Yep.
Time of the 4th end break, brought to you by Warm Room Hero, the intuitive curling club software that takes stress out of schedules, registrations, and more. Warm Room Hero, a platform built for curlers by curlers. Check out Warm Room Hero at curling.club today. We'll let Claire finish her thought after the break. 6-2, the score.
Let's say you're in high school and there's a sport you like, but sometimes you think, you know, it might be cool to try a new sport.
End up with a corner guard on the other side of the sheet.
Twin Cities Orthopedics is ready to go with more doctors, specialty services, and convenient urgent care locations. Ready, set, TCO.
Back at the break here in this tiebreaker game, the 2023 USA Curling Mixed Doubles National Championships. Taking a look at the standings from Pool A. Persinger Plies, the 1 seed, undefeated. They will play the winner of Sarah Anderson, Andrew Stapera, and Eileen Geving and John Schuster in the semifinal game. Hamilton and Hamilton, the 2 seed. They will be on the opposite side of the bracket. They will play the winner of this tiebreaker game. The winner of that matchup will play Corey TC and Corey Dropkin in the opposite semifinal. Here you see the standings from Pool B, where we have this tiebreaker scenario. TC and Dropkin undefeated throughout the competition so far. Anderson Stapera secured that 2 seed with their victory in the final round robin game. Taylor Anderson, Ben Richardson survive to play this tiebreaker after Delaney, Strouse, and Danny Casper lost their final round robin game to Podol and Perry. We will see again those quarterfinal games at 2 p.m. Eastern time today. Again, the schedule is updated now. Earlier said 1 p.m. May still see 1 p.m. online, but we will confirm for you that 2 p.m. Eastern is the start of the quarterfinal matchups this afternoon. Tyler George here with Claire Moores. Claire, we're really excited to have you and Lance making your celeb skip debuts at the House of Hearts in a couple weeks in Duluth, Minnesota. You've heard a lot of things about House of Hearts, I know. And
I have.
We've tried to tell you that really nothing can actually describe the event, but talk about some of the stuff you've heard about the event and what you expect.
Well, if I'm being honest, I'm excited, but I'm also nervous. As you know, I guess I kind of skip if you count doubles. I throw first and last, but in 4-person women's curling, I throw lead, so I don't see the house very much in there. But it's all fun. So I don't know. My brother and my sister-in-law have been to the House of Hearts a few times. They've said nothing but good things. I'm excited.
Yeah, we're excited to have you too, and the curling portion of it is kind of secondary. Everybody's there for a good cause. They're just trying to make sure raise a lot of money to feed some hungry kids through Project Joy. Bly's Families organization started by Chris's father, Patrick Bly's.
Oh, I didn't know it was connected to the Bly's family.
That it is, yes. It wasn't always the organization that we worked with for our charitable cause. The American Heart Association, I believe, was the original foundation that we worked with.
That makes sense for the name.
Yeah. So yeah, that is where the name came from, and been working with Project Joy for a number of years now. And I believe our last tournament that we held back in 2019 before COVID, we raised enough money to feed every child in this program that they hold for 5 months. So
really?
It's fun to see the impact that you have with so many charitable foundations and events. It's a long-term impact, but with this one, it's immediate. You know, that check goes over right away, and you see the fruits of your labor, besides the fact that it's a fantastic party and everybody enjoys their time there, and it's one big family. You know that you're doing something good. That's, again, you see those
quantifiable. You can see what happened. That's cool.
He's good.
And Richardson playing this intern tap now again, trying to move that top yellow stone. Actually playing into their own stone, just trying to chip this in sideways.
Kind of like that call.
Moves the stone just to the back of the butt, but the angle's still playing into Strouse and Casper's favor, Claire.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all about those little ticky-tacky angle shots that you're trying to improve your position, even if you're not necessarily shot rock right away.
Yeah, you're trying to set yourself up so that you can score if you have hammer by the time you get to your final stone in a different way that you see in men's and women's, where You see a lot of stones lobbed to the side of the 8-foot or 12-foot to indirectly set up big ends. With mixed doubles, it's all direct. You're going to that 4-foot circle almost exclusively unless there's a miss somewhere along the line, and it's very difficult to make without a power play.
Yeah.
Stones in the 8-foot and the 12-foot count because of that mess of stones in the 4-foot, and because you're starting with a guard in play and a rock behind you.
And I feel like, I don't know if other teams feel this way. I mean, you're always going for multiple points, but quite frankly, based on how every end sets up, it's okay to get one, and you're happy with one almost every time.
As long as you continue to score,
Yeah.
then your opponent's not scoring.
I
So
like
that's a
to
good
I like to
point.
call those ones, those 1-1-1 games, just paper cut after paper cut.
Sure. The water torture is
Yeah,
referred
yeah.
to older term. Nice tap there by Danny Casper. Really good angles now for Strouse and Casper to maybe set up a steal. I don't see a whole lot that Anderson and Richardson can do.
Do you peel
outside
the
of-
guard or run it back here?
Yeah, you may have to peel the guard to open this up. I think Ben and Taylor are talking about maybe trying to pick that Yellowstone out of the top of the 4-foot so that it's not lined up, angled directly back to those two reds.
We've kind of moved in the direction of if the angles aren't in your favor for a couple shots in a row and the other team's got you in a bind, you just really have to run that guard back. And if you peel, that's fine.
Yeah, and it's so much different than, again, men's and women's because the amount of time that you have to bail is so much shorter with only 5 rocks being thrown, and that center guard is always there.
Always.
So the bail is going to be necessary because every single one based on position. Because of those angles, that run back does clear both reds, leaves all 4 yellows in the house. Still 4 rocks left to play in the end. That's the important thing there, Claire, about doing it at a point where you still have multiple shots left to try to get yourself out of trouble afterwards.
Well, and now red is running a red in instead of a yellow if they have to do it again.
Danny Casper playing out-turn draw. Probably trying to get right into the top of the 4-foot. Be an in-off opportunity for Ben Richardson if they choose to play it, but they like to save that for the last one if it's needed. As many rocks as you can pile up in the house right now makes it that much tougher for your opponent to try to score, and hanging any point this end would be huge for Strouse and Casper, but with as many in the house as they have now, Claire, you really have to put the pedal to the metal
Yeah.
and try to steal as many as possible.
Just make it as hard as you can to let red get anything in the 4-foot.
One over curls a little bit and dies. And this is the important shot now for Richardson. They will play off of this stone biting the 4-foot. Not a lot of places they can hit it that wouldn't be a good result for them. Can't see all of it either, but if it did over curl and came off of the rock above it, you still probably get a good result into that pile. So
Yeah, catch it thin.
a lot of good results available here for Ben. I think his final stone of the 5th.
Pretty good.
Ends up dead frozen on that stone too. That's pretty much the best result they can get. I think if you're Strouse and Casper, even though you'll have to lose your back stone, probably your shooter, you have to take care of that
Yeah.
red stone, take that out, make it look at multiple points. Even if you played soft and tried to stay on top of that red, there's probably a draw for a second point on the in-turn side, and there's no possibility of stealing. So they'll play this with weight, I would expect. I think, Claire, it is possible if you hit maybe 3/4 of this with peel, that
Yeah.
that rock goes out far enough, if it even gets to the 12-foot, to sit 3, the shooter sticks around the 8-foot.
Wonder if you play down weight at it, you might kick that back yellow, I don't know, back a bit, but get the red far enough out into the 12-foot. I don't know. And then your shooter would stick around. Maybe not.
I think the main objective here is that this red stone goes out, or at least gets out of count. We'll pop back there from Delaney, set it on its line. Don't think the shooter's going to stay, but we'll lose the red stone, and that's the #1 objective. So
Yep.
at least making your opponent play against 2. And a force, not a disaster, but making your opponent look at multiple stones gives you a chance to maybe get a steal at the very least. So Taylor will play the out-turn draw. Just needs to get full 8 foot against these 2 points for their single. And those singles you talked about, Claire, always good to score,
Yep.
especially when you're up by 5 already, or 4 already, looking to go up 5.
Yeah, I'd be happy with the 1.
Somebody remarked in the YouTube chat that Taylor looks cold, and I think
It's cold in the
that's
mornings.
true. It's cold out there, period. It's colder in the
It's
mornings, and there's way less humans out there today.
Oh, yeah.
So this would be probably the coldest draw that they've had as of yet. It's much nicer up here, isn't it,
It
Claire?
is. It is. my kneecaps are shivering.
Yeah.
With me all week.
In Denver, when we did the broadcast, we were out on the ice level, and
Oh, that was
frigid
cold.
for the entire week for us. Truck turning over, needs it to stop. Danny might have a chance here. Nope, does hit the slide path and digs in the back. So, single point for Anderson and Richardson. Take their lead to 7-2 over Strouse and Casper after 5 minutes.
The everyday person may not aspire to be a professional athlete or an Olympic athlete. You may just want to be the best person you can be. You just may want to sleep better. You may want to feel better. Thorne has many products that can support all of those things. So it's not just about performing or running faster or jumping higher. It's those little things that go into having a higher quality of life.
Beginning of the 6th end in our tiebreaker matchup, 2023 USA Curling Mixed Doubles National Championships. Taylor Anderson and Ben Richardson with their new life, leading 7-2 over Delaney, Strouse, and Danny Casper. Tyler George here with Claire Moore. And Claire, thanks to our friends at Floor Curl, USA Curling member clubs are entitled to a 20% discount on any Floor Curl inflatable rink set. These rinks only take a minute to inflate or deflate and are the perfect way to promote your club at summer festivals, events, or anywhere you have a flat surface. No ice required. Visit usacurling.floorcurl.com. Use the promo code FCInflatable20. That's usacurling.floorcurl.com. Promo code FCInflatable20, valid until March 12th.
Pretty good first rock there by Taylor.
Yeah, so important. Defending, making that freeze to start this end off. I think for Delaney and Danny, something I discussed with Chelsea Carey on the stream last night, that when you have a deficit like this, that it changes how you approach setting up these stones a little bit, where instead of, as you mentioned, trying to position, make sure of the one, bump rocks around, and maybe try to score multiple points later in the end, now you really have to move these stones around and spread them out a little bit, take some chances. So Danny is just playing the freeze for now, but we've seen teams, and Chelsea mentioned this too, that teams would bump these around a little more and maybe try to spread those out as opposed to piling it up Because when you get 8 rocks in the forefoot, it's really difficult to score more than 1 point a lot of times. It's kind of been a running theme in men's and women's for so many years that whenever there's a mass of rocks in the house, it always seems like somebody just scores 1.
Right. I kind of wonder if this. Let me preface this question. I like to ask dumb questions because maybe they're dumb, but maybe somebody else has not thought of it, and it's a really good idea.
Well, let's fire away. Let's go.
What would you ever take that center guard and give yourself 2 corner guards?
I asked Chelsea that exact question last night too, and she said they have used that strategy actually, time to time, depending on the score. But yeah, when you know the opponent can't hit, she said it's a lot like with the 5 rock free guard zone rule now, and having that bonus rock that you can throw for a second corner without your opponent being able to peel it out. It's kind of the same situation here where you can bump that center guard over for 2 corners and then they still can't take it out of play as long as you're doing it with your first stone. The second one still kind of be a freebie if you have hammer because your opponent would only be able to peel on the next shot, but the first one, probably the right time to do it and just move things open. Haven't seen it used very much at all this week, though. So yes,
I did it by accident.
You did it by accident. How'd it work? How'd the end end up?
I think it's all right.
Yeah? See, if you scored 2 or 3, then the light bulb might go off, too.
Right, exactly.
I'm actually surprised that we don't see that more in playing the tick on the center. Tick play to 2 corners in the mixed doubles game with, there not being a no-tick rule, obviously.
Well, the thing is, so you tick it, and then they've got a stone. Well, no, your stone would be the one on the back button. Just having that stone on the back button, I think, makes people second guess it.
Yeah, it's difficult to not get trapped into thinking we have to play to that stone because they're already in. But yeah, it's definitely not something we've seen very much this week. And in this situation for Strouse and Casper, it would have been interesting to see if they elected to play that.
Just halfway.
Once again, our friend Marcus Cleet down in Hawaii, probably on a beach somewhere, probably sleeping right now, I would think, with the time difference. His agency, Mimic Insurance, the Gleaton agency, has been serving the educational community in Southwest Michigan since 2006. Call them for all your home and automobile insurance needs. I said last night that I wanted people to call them right now and call Marcus.
Maybe not a good time.
Yeah, call Marcus while he's on the beach and disturb his vacation. This morning, I really want people to call them right now. So I should look up their. I could give out his phone number on the air and have people call him and wake him up.
That is an idea.
Yeah, I feel like he's kind of earned it by bailing on this.
I gotta look this
middle
up.
of the tournament.
What's the time?
I think from here it's a 6-hour difference. I think because if I remember right from when we were down there before, I think it was
5 a.m. He's probably
awake. Could be. He will be if we give out his number and people start calling him. Leave him be for the time being.
He's the one waking up on a beach. He's probably happy about it.
Yeah, and
More time on the beach.
he's done so much stuff for these national championship events that we've held in Kalamazoo over the years, all the way back in 2010, the men's and women's. Another nationals, or 2 more men's and women's nationals, 2015, 2019, now this mixed doubles championship. So he's bought himself a little bit of credence with all the effort, all he's done for this group. I'm not going to give your number out today, Marcus, but don't put it past me for the rest of this tournament still. Comeback attempt here from Danny Casper to move things around. Still keeps 3 yellows in the house. Red still sitting 1, but Claire again at the point now where they have to try to score as many as possible, take some chances. If they can get a 3-point end, I think that would be the number that would get them back in this game.
Right back.
Richardson had a very strong game today, trying to play this in-turn draw around and stack another one. If they can get this stone in the top of the butt, be in really good shape. Got a text from Marcus right now. He is awake, watching the game.
Go.
All right, I won't give your number out now, Marcus. That's impressive. 5 a.m. in Hawaii. I suppose if you're in Hawaii, you want to be up basically at all hours. You don't want to waste your time down there.
Right. Just sleep on the beach, maybe. Save on a hotel.
Marcus, if you want me to give your number out for business purposes, I can certainly do that too. I think that's a lot more fun than just giving out a website or anything. If there is a contact you'd like us to use, let people know how they can get a hold of you and secure your services. Go ahead and text that too. Yeah, really nice spot again by Richardson. Ben's been near flawless today. See a little punch in the shoulder from Taylor Anderson there. You need to hit Ben a little harder to make an impact.
Just a little bit.
So run back attempt here from Danny Casper and Claire. I think if they hit this in the right spot, they could lose those top two reds and not move any of their yellow stones.
That might go through those two. Right above the 4-foot.
Our associate with Curling Stadium, John Benton, saying the beauty of streaming, watching mixed doubles from the beach. That's what Curling Stadium brings to the table, folks. Well, this run attempt from Danny. Oh, just papers by that top one. That's unfortunate.
I was talking to Vicky's parents yesterday, and her dad said he used to have to call the curling club to get updates. Couldn't just pop online and see what was going on.
Marcus has given me a number that I can actually give out for their services.
Should check it first.
Yeah, well, I checked to make sure it wasn't the one that I'm actually texting right now. It's just 269-467-8974. That's 269-467-8974 for Marcus. We'd like to secure his services for your insurance needs in the Kalamazoo area. If you miss a single draw, though, Marcus, I'm going to give out your personal number, too. Taylor Anderson playing in turn guard, trying to play it to tight. Claire, the miss that we've seen so much on these guards is one that we see a lot in men's and women's nationals, too, because of the way that Sean Olison's ice works, the way that Dave Staventeg's ice used to work, that just not taking enough room and it over curls. With this ice, you really have to take the same broom for guards as you do for a draw to the house. Guards curl really early and they end up on the same line. So normally when you're throwing a rock less distance, you're cutting the broom down because it doesn't have as much time to curl. But they curl so much earlier on guards on this ice, and it's been that way for over a decade. And we've seen it every single year with our Nationals ice. It's no secret to anybody that's played it for many years. But these guards over curling, you know, that's something that we see pretty consistently with not taking enough broom and then walking it down, as opposed to, you know, with that tight stick, you just have no chance to hold it. It's gone early.
We talk about that a lot. Where to place a broom, what's okay.
Delaney playing this long run, trying to play for 3. And just picks the one off, so only a steal of 1 point here in the 6th, and that's handshakes for this tiebreaker game. That's enough for Delaney and Danny. It'll be the end of their tournament, so final score, Sarah Anderson, Ben Richardson defeating Delaney Strouse and Danny Casper 8-2. So that win last night from Taylor and Ben to give themselves a chance, got the help they needed to get back in. Sometimes, Claire, the team has their back up against the wall, they get the win they need, and that little bit of help, and everything turns.
Shifts.
So you got a couple ends in.
Yeah.
You got to start your broadcasting career with a few, and now maybe back to get off the feet again with a little bit of a break before the rest of the playoff rounds.
Yeah. Happened.
It's not a bad idea. I'm going to have to do that. So taking a look at playoff bracket, up on my phone, this is the graphic that we're using right now. This is very professional.
High
You
tech.
can see me doing it, yeah. We are full for the playoff bracket. Anderson and Stapera will play Geving and Schuster. The winner playing Persinger and Plies in the semifinal round. Quarterfinals, Matt and Becca Hamlin will now take on Taylor Anderson, Ben Richardson. Winner of that game will play the Coreys, Corey TC and Corey Dropkin in the semifinals. Quarterfinal games will be at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. We have not picked a feature game yet for stream, so that'll be a surprise for you folks as much as it will be for me once we get there.
Bribes?
I would absolutely take a bribe, yeah. I don't know if I have the authority to make the call, but I'll still take whatever the offer is.
Yeah.
So we will sign off here. Again, final score, 8-2, Anderson and Richardson advancing over Strouse and Casper. Quarterfinal games at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. We will see you then. Claire, thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me.